Welcome to part 2 of creating your Google site. If you remember from last time, we added some pages up here. I added another one that I call resources, so I'm just going to click on that right now. Bring that up there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some subpages to this page. The way that we do that is, if you remember, if we're on our Pages tab over here, we have all the pages that we've put together. And so the last one that I've put together is resources, right? I just typed in a title like we did before, and I added a nice picture by going to change image. What we want to do though is we want to add a few subpages to this page. And when we click on these 3 dots that are over here, we have some options that come up. The option that we're going to do is create a subpage. And if we click on that, we can type in whatever we want. So I'm just going to type in homework tips for one of them, and I'm going to add a couple of subpages. So it's adding it in. Let's add another subpage. So create a subpage again. I'm going to type in digital footprints. Hit done, and adding another subpage. I'm going to add one more just to make 3, and I'm going to call this one Gender Bias in Science, because I'm a science teacher and that's what I want to put, and it's my page. And there it goes. So now we have all these 3 subpages, and if you notice up here we have this little down arrow. When we hover over it, we have our subpages ready to go. If we want to take a look to see what the preview looks like, here it is. This is what it would look like. We have this little down arrow, this little menu from that down arrow when we hover over it. And if we click on each of these, there's no content yet, but it takes us right to those pages. Our digital footprints one and our gender bias one. So we'll go back to our editing. And what we can do is, just like any of the other pages, we can add content to it. So let's go to our homework tips. Homework tips, here we go. And I'm just going to double click, and I get my little options here. I'm going to add text, and I'm going to type in, type. That was pretty fast. And so I have all of this stuff that I've typed up that comes up. What I want to do is I want to add in some other resources. So I'm going to add in some other links over here. Now, one of the nice things that you can do, and I'm actually going to add it down here, is when we add in other resources, there are some websites that actually have some code that's embedded in it. So when we add it, you get a little preview of what it's to look like. So for example, I'm just going to go up to EasyBib. That's one that people are, I think, familiar with. If we copy this URL, we'll go back to our editing here. If I double click and I add a URL, I'm going to put in the EasyBib website, and we get this little window that comes up. So when I click add, we're going to see this preview of EasyBib. So it's not just some words that show what the website is, it's an actual little symbol here. So if we go onto the preview again, and we scroll way down, we have this wonderful little insert for EasyBib. And this whole thing is a link. If I click on this, it takes us right to the EasyBib website. So it's a nice way to add a little bit more texture to your page. Not every website will do that. Some of them don't do that. There are a couple others that do though. So I think I found one, Hack My Study. I'll copy this link. We'll double click again, add URL, and we'll paste that one in. And this one comes up too, so we can add that one. And now we have both of those together. So maybe we don't like them right here. We can take this one, we can move it right up next to the other one. We can also change the size if we really wanted to. We can make it bigger or smaller. I think it's fine like it is right now. Let me show you what happens though if we have a couple that don't have that type of option. I have a Quizlet that I've got for my classes, so I'll copy that link. If I try to do that for this one by adding a URL and I paste that one in, you get this little notice here, right? This will only show a link since no additional information was made available by the website. So if I add that, it's just going to say Quizlet, kind of boring. So this might be one that you want to add in as a text, right? Because if I look at the preview for this, and we scroll down, it's not very exciting. It's just this little part here. So what might be a little bit easier, let's get rid of this one, delete. If we go into the resources, I can just go like this, hit enter, and type in Quizlet. I can highlight this one. I don't want that bold anymore, but I can add a link to this and apply, and it kind of comes right up. And maybe let's say I'll go over here, tab it in. So at least now I can type in a title and then I'll add a link to it. So if I go to my preview for this one, there we go, and I scroll down, you can keep adding a list of just titled links, or some websites have little inserts that you can put. And if you notice that this is a link that goes right to EasyBib, here's one that goes right to 20 hacks to improve your memory. So that's kind of an important one for hacking one's memory so you can learn more stuff. The other thing that you can do is you can actually link to parts of your own website. For example, if we go back to this resources page that we just made, so the resources page for the most part is blank. Now you could certainly double click and add a message, which I may do in a little bit. But the other thing that you can do is you can, let's just type in one of the other pages. Let's type in homework tips. That was one of the pages that we just added. If we want, we can actually highlight this whole thing and we can add a link that goes right to the page. If we scroll down a little bit, if you notice, we actually have all the pages here. So this one, we want homework tips. If I click on homework tips and I hit apply, now this links right to the homework tips page. So you can do that to any of your pages. So we have the resources here. There's 3 other sub pages under resources. We could do that. We could add in the other ones as well. So what was the order that we had? We have digital footprints. So I could hit return. I could type in digital footprints, highlight the digital footprints text, and I can scroll down to find that page. Here it is. Click on it, apply, and now that goes right to that page. And the last one, gender bias, that's not spelled correctly, but in science, we'll do the same thing. We'll highlight this whole thing, click on this, and we'll scroll down and we got gender bias in science. So there you go. What does that look like? Well, if we go to the preview, which is always helpful, we've got our links right here. Now, from this page, you could, of course, just click on it from this down arrow, but maybe you're going to add some text to this, and as you're adding the text, you feel like, well, it's kind of important to reference each of these pages, and if we click right on homework tips, it takes us right to our homework tips page, and we scroll all the way down. We've got our EasyBib and our hacks link. Just kind of a nice handy feature that you can use to add links to your own page. What are some other things that you can do? Well, you can add information from Google. We can add drives, folders right from the drive. You can add YouTube. You can add different calendars. I tend not to use Google Maps, but you could. You can insert those. You can also add any of the Google Suite, Docs, Slides, Sheets, Forms. All of those can be added right to your page. Let's do this. Let's go and add a YouTube video. So let's get a good video. Here's a good one. I think you may have seen this one before. We'll go to share, we'll copy that link, and we'll go back to our page over here. If we want to add in, and remember this is our resources under the homework tips. If we wanted to add in a YouTube video, it's as simple as just going and clicking on YouTube. And if we paste in our link up here and hit search, there it is. We just select it and then hit select. And there it is. We've got our video that comes right into the page. Now, the other thing, when we go to view it, let's go to the preview. The visitors to your page have an option. They can actually watch it right from here, and it will just be this small window. Or when they hit play, we don't need to hear it right now, they can maximize it. They can go to full screen, or they can click this part here and it will go right to the YouTube website. So kind of a nice feature to be able to add video content directly to your page. Let's go back to the home page. I think it would fit better here. Maybe you have some information that you want to share that's on Google Calendar. So again, we can go to the Insert tab, and you can add in any calendar that you have access to. So right now, maybe we want to add in the Google Sites course, and we insert, and the calendar comes right up. Again, go to the preview so you can see what it looks like for the visitors to your site. This can be handy. Maybe you've got different assignments that you use, and when you update your calendar, you want your students or anyone that comes to your site to be able to see it. You only have to update your calendar, and it automatically gets updated right here. Right? And they can choose the different way that they want to see it. This is the agenda. They can look at the whole week, or they can look at the monthly view. So all kinds of options that they have. Let's go back to this. You may have noticed too that, let's go, we're actually on the home page. You might not want the text to look the way that it does. So what are some other things that you can do? You can actually change the whole appearance of your site by going to the Themes tab over here. By default, we're on the simple one, but you've got a few other options, and then you can even change the font and the color schemes within these different themes. So the theme that we're on now is simple, but we can change, and it's kind of subtle in some ways. We can the different colors. We can also change the font size. There it is. Font style, excuse me. We can go to the Aristotle, and then again you have other options for the different types of font. Impression is kind of a nice one. Go to different font styles. Scrolling down. How's that? All kinds of options that you can do. When you make these changes and you go to the different pages, you'll notice that it takes effect on the whole thing, right? It changes the whole thing. And so this might be a good one where you can start to see the different color. There we go, it's yellow. So you've got a number of different ways that you can personalize your site. Let's go back to our resources. So we'll go to the pages over here, and let's go back to our homework tips under the resources page. Seems to be a good place to put lots of information. So I've got a couple videos here. We've got a couple links that show the different websites. We've got a text that we put a link to. Maybe we want to put some other information here. We can put things directly from the Google Drive as well. So you might have a Google Doc or a slide or some other information that you want to share. So I'm going to see if I can put it in a Google slide. So we'll just click on that. And benefits of a teacher website is kind of a good one. And if we click Insert, it comes up much in the same way as the others do. So now we've got this Google slide that's embedded right in our page. If we go to the preview, and again we'll scroll all the way down, here it is. We can actually view it right from here by scrolling, and you can see each of the slides. Or you can click this and you can make it big so it takes up the whole screen. So a nice feature that you can make your website really come alive and add a whole lot of content to it. Let's go back. Another thing that you may want to do is to add an actual folder right from your Google Drive. That is a nice feature to have, because if you have some files that you update, your students will have access to the most recent versions, the most recent edits of whatever it is that you're creating. Before you do that, you want to decide on how you want to share the information. Do you want everyone to be able to see it? Do you want people just within your school district? So what to do, this is what I do, is I'm going, so here's the Google Sites course, and I made copies of a few things that I thought would be handy to share. So what I do is I create a new folder. So I'll go to New and then Folder, and I'm just going to call this one Resources, and then we'll hit Create. I'm going to take these copies and I'm going to just drag them right in there. But before I do that, I want to make sure that people anywhere have access to this. And the reason why I do that is because if parents want to check to see what's happening in the classes, or if they want access to the same information that the students have, they may not have an email account with the school, so in which case they wouldn't be able to see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double click on, or right click on this and get shareable link. That's one way that you can do this. If you get a shareable link, you can actually change the settings as to who's going to have it, right? You can go to the advanced down here, and you can make it so that anyone on the web can have it, anyone only with the link can have it. Another option that you can do is when you right click on this, is when you go to share it, right? Again, you can make it, when you go to the advanced tab down here, we'll go to change, this is with our school account, you can make it so that it's public. So if we click this, that means that anyone that comes to your website and sees this folder can have access to that information. So just make sure there's nothing that's copyright. You know, the likelihood that someone's going to actually go to your private website for your school is pretty low, but you never know. So I'm just going to do save for this, and then we'll hit done. And then we'll take the copies of the things that we've created. We'll just highlight these, and I'll just drag it right into our resources folder. And this is actually shared with someone else, that's why that message comes up. We'll just double click here. Here's the copies that we have. So what do we want to do now? We'll go back to our Google Sites, and what we can do is we can go right to our drive. And when we go right from our drive, we can pick wherever yours is. Here's the Google Sites course. We can pick the folder that we want to share. So right now we just put everything into this folder. So I'm going to click on this just to highlight it and then do insert. This is one of the great features of the Google Sites. This is the actual folder that's right here. So these three documents are the same as these three documents. It's the same folder, it's just from another location. I'm just going to resize it, and I'm going to drag this and put it right next to this over here. So, you know, you can have individual documents or slides or sheets, or you can have entire folders. And if we go to the view or the preview, and we scroll all the way down again, because we keep adding stuff to this, we've got, remember, our links, we've got our two videos, we've got our Google Slides, which is embedded right into the site, and now we've actually got this folder that's right here. So if I were to add in other stuff to the folder, it would come up, right? So if we X this out for a minute and we go to the resources, I'm going to go back to my drive. I'm just going to put this one in too, just to show you. So now there's 4 in there. If we go back and we preview this, working, we come down, there it is, right? We just put that in there. Instant edits that we make in our folders on the Google Drive are instantly updated on our Google Sites. So you never have to worry about uploading, or did you put the right edit, the right version? Nope. As soon as you make changes, it's there automatically. It definitely takes a little bit of work initially when you go to your drive to figure out what you want to put and what needs to be shared, because there's certainly a lot of things that I have here that are not really shareable. These are things that I need for work on my own, but it's not something that I would want my students to see. In fact, if I go back to this one over here, the benefits of the teacher website, we already have a copy of that, so we don't need to have both of them on there. So I'm just going to click on this, and I'm going to move it back to where it came from. Okay. So one of the most powerful features, I think, of the Google Sites is this ability to add in folders, right? You choose what you want your students to see, what you want them to have access to, and you never have to worry about uploading it to the website if you work out of the Google Drive. So a little bit of time, a little bit of effort initially to set up those folders, but it's like a one and done thing. And it's really, really a great time consumer. Keep working on your Google Sites, and we'll continue in the next episode. Thanks for watching.